Now let's just head on over to Administer and check out our custom front page. Site configuration. Well, I also need to mention too that whenever I first did this myself, I encountered a couple of problems. Well, one big problem, and that was that it just, whenever I clicked on this, it took me to the page, but as you can see down here in the status bar or the progress bar or whatever you want to call it, it just takes forever, and I mean forever. And I'm not sure, and actually just kind of gave up trying to figure out what the deal was, but I did figure out what was causing it and how to fix it. Because actually after I finally got this thing to stop and to fully load, and I actually did what I was supposed to do as far as entering the different content for the different pages, well, this won't even load. Oh, here we go. As you can see here, a couple of the choices here: front page for anonymous, front page for authenticate, the registered authenticated user, admin, gold, silver. It takes the roles that we've already assigned and allows you to create a custom front page for each of those roles if you so desire. But I'll get into this here in a little bit because you can see it's still not fully loaded yet. The reason behind this, after a lot of hair pulling out, and if you've seen me, you know I don't have a lot to spare, that I figured out what the problem was, and it was with another module that we had, the was it FDK editor, I believe it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now that I can. Well, as you can see, it's still, and I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, there's a problem. There's a conflict between this module, which I believe is not totally 100% fully developed yet for the 6.2 version, that I'm sure they'll have it figured out here for upcoming versions. And of course I'm going to send in a ticket. I'm not really sure exactly what verbiage they call it, but it just helps the creators of the modules know that there's an issue pending. It's a little bit of a rundown on that. Now let's get out of here real quick and head over to, yeah, it's the FCK editor that is causing a bit of a problem with this. Now I'm not saying delete or get rid of the FCK editor. I'm just saying disable it while we are setting up our front pages, because then we just come back after we're done, we come back and we enable the FCK editor and everything works fine. So let me just kind of show you. You saw how slow this thing was. Let's head over to site building and disable that FCK editor and then come back here and you'll see a world of difference. Go to modules. And again, I just wanted to point this out in case this happens on your machine. It could just be my machine. I doubt it, but if it does happen on your machine, at least ways you don't have to pull out all the hairs that I had to pull out of my head. You can just easily go here to disable, don't delete, but disable the FCK editor, and then all is well with the world. Now let me come on back here to site config and go back over to our advanced front page settings, and then check this guy out down here. Boom, done. That's how. So you can see it's an easily fixable problem. But let's go here first for front page anonymous. And now, of course, what we did was we disabled the HTML factor for this. No big deal. We can still install the HTML formatting if you're familiar with it. In other words, well, here, let me show you. I've got some pages set up here. Let's go with this one. Now this is the coding for a typical HTML page. We've got HTML opening tag, HTML closing tag, the closing body tag, the opening body tag, opening head tag, closing head tag, title, blah, 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 blah. Now, what we need in here, and this might be a good giveaway, is we can do this. We can put an entire brand new HTML page in here if you want. It's not necessary though. I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. For what the purpose of this video is, we're just going to use the pieces between the body tags. So we can get rid of this and this, and just use this. And this just tells us, if you're not familiar with HTML, there's a lot of reference points on the internet you can go to find out what the different codes are. Anyway, you can do a search on Google for HTML and you'll come up with a gazillion different results. Several of them are fantastic. So you ought to learn HTML, at least ways the basics. But anyway, this means bold, this means new paragraph. And what I was alluding to earlier as far as the entire HTML page on here, if you have, for example, a sales page, totally irrelevant to this video, but let's say you've got a sales page that you created in Dreamweaver to promote or to sell a product, whatever, an ebook or whatever. You can put that entire thing in here, and then down here you can go to full, and whenever you go to that particular front page, in this example it's for anonymous, just the people that are poking around the internet, that's what they're going to see. They won't see any of these links here on this side. They won't see any of the header, any of this stuff up here. All they're going to see when they come to this address for the front page, all they're going to see is that sales page that you put in here. And trust me, that can be rather confusing. So I would suggest against that. Just to let you know that you can do that. You can go full board. You can create an entirely new front page, all the bells and whistles, new CSS sheet, everything, all the new formatting, everything. And I would suggest to do that only instead of having full, to where it eliminates all of this stuff here, because when it does eliminate this, you're eliminating your login potential. You have no way of logging in here unless, of course, you integrate that into your sales page here. So again, that's totally up to you. What I would suggest is to stick with themed, because what themed does is it allows you to put whatever you want in here, that full sales page or just this, but it maintains everything on the sidebars, the header, the footer. The only thing that is changing is the center part here, the content, if you will, the body of that particular page, the front page. So if you use themed, which is what I suggest, then you're still maintaining the integrity of the login ability, the sidebars, as I mentioned, the header, the footer, and all that good stuff. So whatever you decide, I would suggest as you're playing around to definitely do not use full on setting up the admin page, because you're SOL at that point. Because without, I'm speaking from experience here, because as an admin, without the ability to log in to make any changes, in other words, go back and change that from full to themed, then you got some work ahead of you, folks. So just take it from me, that's not a good idea. If you're going to try that out, if you're going to go ahead and do it anyway, because even though I told you not to, then do so as a, let's say, create a new role for that, say test role or whatever you want, and then you can always come back in and use whatever history you have up here to log in as admin. Then get back in there and change that. But I would go with theme. Of course, these are the choices you have right now. You also have redirect, where you can simply redirect that individual that is just looking around on your site that's not logged in. In other words, the guest or anonymous user. And then you would have the address here that they'd be redirected to, whether it's a page within this site or an entirely different page altogether. Now here you've got the checkbox to allow embedded PHP code in the front page, which is kind of cool too. This gives you the ability to throw in some, say, PHP redirects. Play around with it, folks. Have fun with it. That's the key thing. Don't get bored. Anyway, let's go ahead, and I got something in there. So let's go with authenticated user or registered. And it's the same thing here, except now that we've got something in the anonymous user, we've got an additional choice here. We can just simply click on same as anonymous users. And I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to throw something in here for these guys. Now this time around, I'm going to go ahead and put in the whole thing, the HTML code top to bottom, with the title and everything included, just so you can see if there is a difference. I don't think there is, but if there is a difference, you'll be able to see it. We're going to stick with themed, because I learned my lesson. And now then, for I'm going to leave admin alone. I'm going to go with gold, And let's see what we got here. If you're wondering what I'm doing down here, I've got some pre-made pages that I'm just setting in here. Like for example, this is the front page for the gold members. This is, well, you'll see whenever we get there. And again, under the select type, I'm going to leave it at themed, but you have these choices now. So as you add custom front pages, they are added to the drop-down selection here. So another cool thing is this custom mission for authenticated users who haven't visited the site for a set period. This is pretty nifty. If you want, for example, this is for our guests, go and sign up. No, I don't want that in there. You can put something in here that, say, if they haven't been around for a month, put something in here. Oh, we missed you. Thank you very much for finally coming back. This is what you've missed. Whatever. It's just a cool addition that, you're adding some additional functionality or flexibility to your site. And you've got this up here, custom temporarily offline message. And this is the default here, so I'll just leave that alone. But if you're going to do some maintenance, then you just come here, click on the offline, and this is what pops up when somebody comes to log in. It still allows administrators, yourself, to log in. Anybody else, maybe you've got helping you out, do whatever you're doing as far as the maintenance part. And then here to activate your front page settings, just like it says here, just put the front page in here instead of node. Because if you leave node in there, then none of this that you've just done is going to take effect. So let's go ahead and put in front page just as it says here. So I'm going to copy and paste just to be on the safe side. And I am, as you may know, a little on the lazy side. There we go. Now we set save configuration. Configuration options have been saved. Good to go. Good deal. Now then, I'm going to log out, and that's going to put us at the stage of the looky-loos, the anonymous. This is the front page for our guest or anonymous user. This would be a great place to have a link to register for silver or gold membership. Ta-da! And again, you can put anything in here you want. I just threw in some text. You can put in some pictures, some images, a full sales page, whatever you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in as gold. I've already got that preset to save a little bit of time here. This is the front page for a gold member. This is a gold member level where, well, you can read. We keep all the best content, and it's all yours for the taking. Ta-da! So again, folks, I hope you found this to be not only an entertaining, somewhat, video, but one that will enlighten you a little bit on some of the additional items that you can put in for your registered or your not yet registered visitors. And once we get into the membership levels of our video series, then you'll see how this can really come into play as far as adding the ability or the enticement to have your not members sign up to become your members of your membership site. Well, this brings us to the end of this video on our custom front page creation. Thank you much for watching, and have a great day.